Yeah, man. All right, we're gonna go to our third quarter. We're gonna talk about how y'all got to Livingstone. So third quarter, the question is, how did you get to Livingstone? Because what I found out about getting to Livingstone is people take a different route to get there. A lot of times they don't go 85, get off on Ennis or J, and then I'm at Livingstone. They either go 85, they might go toward 52 to Pfeiffer, come back 601 to Charlotte. Then they'll say, oh, there's Livingstone. Let me go there. And then they end up there. So how did you end up at Livingstone, Rob?
Um, it's kind of funny, you know. Like I said, coming out of high school, you know, I was one of the top running backs coming out of high school at 145 pounds, 145, 150, little small, little skinny little guy. And you know, like I said, my senior year, about a month before graduation, my mom passed away, and you know, I kind of found myself a little lost, you know. Uh, and you know, I went to school, and my head football coach at the time told me, he said, look, man, Lenore Ryan wants you to come up there and do a workout. I said, you know, I said, all right. So I took a trip up to Lenore Ryan, and when I got there, you know, it was probably about 30 backs that was you know, at the tryout that day or workouts that day. And you know, I was the fastest running back there. The linebackers, they couldn't hold me, they couldn't check me. And you know, the coach came, he pulled me to the side. He said, "Look, I want to go ahead and offer you a scholarship today, and so we just, you know, meet me in my office." So I go in, I sit down, and you know, he do what he do on the computer. And next thing he know, he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna be able to give you a scholarship." I'm like, he's like, "Your SAT score too low." I was like, devastated. I was devastated. You know, I just remember coming back down the highway, coming down 40. I had a little red Toyota pickup truck. I just remember boohooing all the way down that road because I really saw my whole career just pass me by.
Mm.
But you know, at the same time, I didn't know, I didn't have that support piece to say, hey, coach. I mean, I'm giving to say Coach C, but Claude, hey man, you need to go ahead and go take the SAT again. It was too late. You know, the last SAT was already administered. You know, so I didn't really know what I was going to do. But by the grace of God, I was dating a young lady by the name of Robin Brown. She had a brother, Imada and Alan Brown. And the next day I went over their house, and I was sitting, you know, we were sitting kind of talking and just chilling. Next thing you know, her brother, Imada, walks in. He said, man, my daddy just took me over to Livingstone. I just got in. They just accepted me. He said, man, you need to go over there and see and apply. I said, I said, you know, I ain't got nothing to lose, you know. And coming from a predominantly white high school, I didn't know nothing about black college football. You know what I'm saying? You know, I didn't know Livingstone, even though about 15 minutes away from Livingstone, from where I live, I didn't know nothing about Livingstone. So I said, okay. I got in my little truck, rode over there, you know, expectations low. So I go into the admissions office, I fill out the application, and you know, whenever you're filling out those applications, it's always that little section to say, did you play high school sports? And you know, I check football, I check track, and I'm sure Coach Jones had this set up that if anybody came in and filled out an application and they checked football, you send them down there to me. So the lady was like, so I turned my application in, and the lady was like, you play football? I was like, yes, ma'am. And she said, well, go down there to the gym and go talk to Coach Jones. Now, you know, I'm 145. I'm a little kid. I ain't got no parents with me, no nothing. I don't know this school. I don't know where the gym at. But Livingstone's so small, it was just right across the plots to the gym, you know. So so I go down, I walk in, and you know, Coach Jones, everybody know Coach Jones, big old heavyset guy. You know, he got his dip in his mouth, and you know, might have a little dripping on his shirt, you know. So I walked in and told him, I said, the lady up at the admissions office told me I need to come down here and talk to you. He was like, son, he's like, can you play football? I was like, yes, sir. I said, I played football in high school and ran track. I said, I was pretty good. He said, okay, go up there and tell him I said you was good and we'll get you some track money. That's how I got into Livingstone. That
What?
was that's how my interest into Livingstone happened.
Okay.
God just, Coach Jones was there and he just, I mean, his word was like gold.
Yeah. I got a disclaimer real quick. Kids, don't try this at home. Don't go up there, put in football or track and go to the football coach and think you get some money that quick. Don't try it at home, Rob. That's a great story, man. Boy,
Hey, that's how it went down, and that's how I got started. You know, that's how the door opened for me.
and I'm gonna tell you something, Rob. Lenore Ryan did you dirty, but your boy over there, Wilmot Perry, paid him back 266 yards, got a stadium record when we went down to Lenore Ryan. So he got him back for you.
Appreciate that. I appreciate it.
They didn't know what they did they, Wilmot?
No, they had no clue.
So Coach White, how did you get to Livingstone?
My high school year, we had 7 guys go to Livingstone. I never heard of Livingstone. I'm like Clyde Fella, and I lived 3.5 hours, so I never heard of Livingstone. I went to Shawan College.
Okay. Yeah.
When I graduated, went to Shawan College, and Coach Garrison, he had a running back up there that they call him Famous Amos. And went up, he said, JoJo, he said, you're going to be with us 3 years. I said, Coach, what do you say? This is junior college then. He said, you're going to be with us 3 years. I said, Coach, no, I'm up here for 2. This is junior college. He said, you see that guy out there on the field? His name is Famous Amos. I said, you see this guy here? My name is JoJo White. And so what ended up happening, I left after that semester. And I contacted my sister. We was going to go into the service together. Mm-hmm. And right at the last minute, one of the teachers, my science teacher at South Brunswick, Mr. Aldridge, he's deceased now. He said, son, you want to go to Livingstone? I said, no, I'm getting ready to go to service, Mr. Aldridge. He said, well, let me just take you up to Livingstone. So he took a group of us up Livingstone in the van. And when I got at Livingstone, I said, you know what? I'll give Livingstone a try because it's a small school. You know, Shawan was small. And I ended up going up Livingstone, not on a scholarship. And loving football and wanting to be around football, I went to one of the practice. I said, you know what? That's me. I could run over those boys. And I was like Rob said, I wasn't no more than about 160 wet. You know, 5'10", about 160 pounds wet. And during the spring, before that, Coach Coley said, hey, boy. I said, yes, sir. What you doing out here? I said, I'm just looking. I said, I played football in high school, and I'm just looking. He said, you ain't big enough. You only weigh 160 pounds wet. I said, well, Coach, I want to try. He said, come on out during spring. I went out for the spring. Like Rob said, nobody could touch me. So I got invited back the next year to play, and they honored me a scholarship. They honored me a scholarship. And since then, you know, that's JoJo White.
Man,
you're ready back.
It's history.
So that's history. One. You got there. You went somewhere else. You got there. Rob, yours kind of took a detour, but you got up there. Perry, what you got for me?
I went to. I was supposed to go to A&T. Grades weren't good enough. SAT score wasn't that good. So I go to Barber Scotia College. Little did I know, they were using Barber Scotia as like a farm college.
Don't tell anybody. Oh, they ain't open.
They were saying 2 players that they could to Barber Scotia because they didn't have a football program, so they wouldn't lose their eligibility.
Yes.
It was 5 guys that went there with me. James Lowry, which you end up knowing.
Yep.
Tommy Gilmore, it was a guy that I came in with. He got hurt on the first day of practice. He was the reason why I went to Livingstone. Mm-hmm. I go with Tommy up for he was supposed to be signing. Tommy was like, come on, man, round me up to Livingstone. I'm gonna go sign my contract, and I want to see the campus. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll go with you. So I ride with him up there, and we talking. Well, he talking to the coaches. I'm looking around. I'm like, all right, school, all right. I'm thinking, I got the big head. I'm thinking about North Carolina A&T. This school ain't nothing. How small this school is. I want to go here. Not knowing this is the best place I needed to be. I didn't need to be in that environment in Greensboro. That environment would have corrupted me so bad, I probably would have never made it through Smell.
Mm-hmm.
I had enough problems at Livingstone. But yeah, from Tommy talking to me, and then Coach Abrams came down. Well, it wasn't Coach Abrams. It was Coach Richardson.
Yes.
I never even talked to Coach Abrams. I talked to Coach Richardson. And he was like, well, I tried to recruit you when I was, at Washington, whatever like that. I was like, yeah, I wanted to stay close to home and stuff like that. I'm a country boy. I didn't want to go hours and hours away from home. Yeah. It was somewhere in North Carolina I could play football at. That's why I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
So because of Tommy Gilmore, that was the reason why I went to Livingstone.
Man, so everybody got a Livingstone story. So I got to ask this question: when you saw the campus then, your first impression of it, what'd you think about it then, and what do you think about it now when you go back? And Wilmot, you go first. So your first impression of the campus, and then when you see it now, what you think about it?
They've upgraded a lot, so I like it a lot better now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad. It was just small. You know what I mean? Instead of having 5 and 6 dorms, you only got 1 or 2 dorms. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. All football players being in one, all the athletes, basically all the male athletes in one spot and dancing. You know how that goes.
Yes.
So I don't know how they now. They're probably all spread all over the place now.
Yeah, and big shout out to my man Splash, who kept the zoo in check. Splash, I hope you're watching.
Yeah. If one was Splash, there'd have been a whole lot of trouble going on at that.
Oh yeah, Splash kept a lot of people out of trouble. So Splash, you need a championship ring, brother.
No, and Archie too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Archie.
Yeah.
Security guard Archie kept us out of a lot of trouble too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Rob, what about you? When you first saw the campus, and then seeing it now?
I think when I first saw the campus, I never saw it. I was just so excited that I got accepted. You know what I'm saying? That I was going somewhere. And so, I didn't really take note of the campus until probably, after my freshman year, then but I knew it was small. Like I say, when you don't have a whole lot, anything like a Livingstone is a lot. That school, to me, that school was big. I never got a chance to see any other colleges. I didn't, when I went to Lenore Ryan, as far as I got was the football field.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have nothing to measure it by.
Yeah.
So, and the way I feel about it now, I love it more now than when I first got there, regardless of what the school looked like. It's the type of people that it turns out.
That's right.
And mostly, the people that I know that come through Livingstone are very good people. They're doing good things and got good careers. So I mean, that's just the way I just see it as like, it's that diamond in the rough.
It is, yeah. And when I see Livingstone, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, Livingstone. But now I'm like, when I see it, I'm like, oh, Livingstone, my Livingstone.
Right.
It's like you said, it's the people who I met there, championships, Wilmot, them bus rides, the Golden Corral, somebody taking the last piece of chicken, putting it in their pocket, receivers stealing gummy bears, all that stuff. Like the championship was great, but it's the journey to get there. And a lot of times people want to get there, but the journey, man, it's like, hey, Wilmot, I need a ride. Okay, let me get in the Wilmot mobile. And the Wilmot mobile is what was that, a Wilmot? A gray?
Little gray Escort.
Yeah, the Escort. Yeah. So things like that, man.
Yeah. And you make lifetime friends. I mean, because it's so small, I mean, everybody know everybody. You make lifetime friends forever,
Yeah.
I got friends. I mean,
these guys, man, like like you said, Rob, you know, we stopped being teammates, I think, one of the first summer camps, and then we just brothers, man, after that. It's
Right.
just like whatever we need each other, we there. And
Right.
it wasn't, especially for those teams, it was nothing to see 20 people walking together, or a
Mhm.
receiver and a defensive back, or a receiver and a D lineman hanging out. Everyone, it wasn't no clicks on that team, which
Right.
was one of the reasons why we were so successful.
And that's
That
I hate
was
to
some
say,
little clicks.
Yeah, it was some clicks.
There was some little clicks on that team. But it
And-
wasn't
and
bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, you're
I was
right. It
gonna-
wasn't bad.
I was gonna say, and that's what makes homecoming so special.
Yes.
That's what, you know, the relationship that you build and make while you there. That's what makes homecoming so special.
No, that's a good segue. So tell me about homecoming at Livingstone College. What's it like? And tell me about it from a player first, because Coach Amos always told us homecoming ain't for y'all. All this stuff y'all, this ain't for y'all. You got a curfew. You might go to the step show, but you're leaving early, so you're not gonna know who won. You got to get taped at 10 o'clock. You eat breakfast and you're playing. They come to see y'all win. So all this other stuff, you need to worry about winning, and that's what he did for us. So how was it as a player?
Who you want to go? Who you want to go?
You go, Coach White, and I'll go to you, Rob.
Okay.
Like you said, the coach that I had, Coach Mel Rose, he stayed on campus checking curfew. And if you got caught out after curfew, he would wake the whole team up, and we had to go to the football field and run gases.
Oh.
So, like you said, homecoming wasn't for us.
Mm-hmm.
Not the players. The afterwards, after the game, that was for us. Running the ball, anywhere from 25, 30, 35 times a ball game, I ain't want to see homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
After the ball game, I'm sore. I don't want to do nothing but go to bed. And then at Livingstone, it's 15 guys. It was 15 guys. One time I was there, 15 guys, every 2 girls. So it was more guys than girls. Where when you go to the other campus, you had 14, 15 girls to every guy.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just another game.
Yeah, you're right.
I love the crowd. I love the crowd. That was the best time. I mean, that was the best time with the crowd playing, you know, getting to perform in front of the big crowd. But other than that, it was just another game.
Yeah, you're right. What about you, Wilmot?
I've always had a ball at Livingstone for homecoming, man. Just getting a chance to see some of the old heads come back. And for me, when we first got there, everybody always talked about how the Stone didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we treated everybody homecoming like it was our homecoming. We showed up and it was your homecoming. Our thing was we coming to spoil your homecoming. It makes no difference. But at home, it was no way. I drank and stuff like that. But I stayed. I was around my room. I wasn't there, probably won't in my room, but I was around my room.
Oh, let me call
in the area where I was supposed to be. You know what I mean? But I always prepared myself for games. I always took it kind of serious. Yeah, I drank stuff like that, but I prepared my body for the game, stretching and stuff like that. A lot of people think, oh, he might be up late at night. But if you open my door, I'm in there stretching.
Mm-hmm.
My roommate used to be like, bro, why are you stretching? Because I need to stretch. I feel like I need to stretch. It was just something I always did. We go on the roads, I would sit in the ice tub and stuff like that. People, why you do that? I don't know how this game's gonna go. I'm playing it for the worst. It is what it is. But yeah, homecoming, man, has always been good for me. I just love to just show out. Because I know after that game, you're gonna get all the love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, for me, that's when I really partied. That Saturday night, I might not go in at all. I might be the last person to go in. Man, you still hanging out? I'll be out here for a little while. As long as girls still out, I'm still.
Right.
So tell me about homecoming. Like you said, we used to go to other people's homecomings, and they used to schedule Livingstone an easy win. Like And they were like, we gonna beat the brakes off y'all, and we'll come there on their homecoming and just destroy these cats. How was that, Wilmot, when we used to do that to you?
That was hilarious. Because you go into somebody's homecoming, it's a hostile environment. They talking all that junk. I remember we went to Virginia State. Woo Woo Girls. First time I ever seen the Woo Woo Girls.
Hold on,
They
Wilmot.
talking all that. Huh?
People who don't know, tell them what the Woo Woo Girls are, man.
Those are the cheerleaders for Virginia State.
Yeah.
And they some of the finest things at that school. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they picked them girls. They must have a calendar list or something every year. So they were some of the finest girls I ever seen in my life.
Light skin too.
Almost every one of them light skin. If you was dark, it was a dark skin one in there. She was a dime. She probably looked better than every other girl on the staff. But for me, you go to homecoming and you got people. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. My favorite thing was I'm not a shit talker. I tell you, let's talk after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how that conversation go after the game. After they done seen a couple plays, they're like, oh, yeah, we might be in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's homecoming. We can party anyway. By the time the game over with, they're like, well, we're going to party like crazy anyway. Yeah, but y'all got y'all ass today. On your homecoming. I'm sorry.
What about you, Rob? Did y'all play a lot of homecomings?
We did. It was the same thing. A lot of people wanted to set us up, as their homecoming game, thinking it was going to be an easy win. As my junior and senior year, we started beating a lot of those teams on their homecomings, and so they stopped scheduling it, us for homecoming. And so then Wilmot and them came behind, and they just kind of, took care of business for us. So I take those victories with Wilmot.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Y'all led the way, man. If it wasn't for you, Coach White, even the teams that went 0-10, hey, if it wasn't for y'all, it'd be no 10-0 teams because they kept playing no matter what. So
it was motivation. But it's motivation. As long as you know the history, it's motivation.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because you got people, y'all gonna tank in the fourth quarter. And we look at them like, I don't know what team you were looking at, but this team ain't gonna tank in the fourth quarter. Right. The same way we put it on you in the first quarter, same way we gonna put it on you in the fourth.
Mm-hmm. But Virginia State, they did us the same way. I mean, we had it was funny because we beat them on their homecoming, and it was all because of, I think, Byron Corn, our cornerback. He tackled the receiver and got a flag on it, but he saved the touchdown. But what they did was they had us walk all the way up to the cafeteria to eat. They fed us up in the cafeteria. And so I know what you're talking about with them cheerleaders now. We saw all them cheerleaders, man. They had a whole party. We coming back down. They had a whole party, we coming back down through. They just knew they was gonna beat us. They just knew it. But they had the festivities going. Made us walk through all that. Yeah.
That's how they do it. What about you, Coach White? Tell me about playing on other teams' homecoming.
Like you said, most of the team, that was a sure win. But we upset some teams, Favorite State. We had Central one year. And several other teams we had, wishing they hadn't picked us. Yeah. And Bowie State and that group, that was just a waste, They always put us on because they thought old Livingstone wasn't worth it. Even Norfolk State up there when we played on the Old Dominion campus.
Oh yeah.
And I think my first run from scrimmage was like an 85-yard touchdown. And then they called that back. My second run, it even got to be a 90-yard touchdown. Couldn't call that back because they ain't have nothing, to call on. But those teams like that, because we had Norfolk State, Hampton, and that group in the CIAA at that point, and they always schedule us for homecoming.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's good. So thanks about that. We're going to end our third quarter, go to the fourth quarter, and we're going to talk about the records, and talk about what you're doing right now. So get y'all a drink of water. The cheerleaders want to say something.